I think it's one of those problematic students that we have in our universities that don't want to graduate. I know that CPUT addressed a thing about students that are failing that want to mule themselves back into the university.
What's sad is the fact that we're doing this thing called education, but we are taught skills that are not going to be helpful towards us in the generation we're going to, because AI is coming in. I don't know who to blame right now, because partly it's also the university system that's actually disadvantaging us. Partly it's also the students that don't want to leave university, keep on failing, and they actually occupying the space for other students. Being goal orientated, whereby you want to achieve dreams,
is for you to bring them back to perspective on their value and their worth.
Don't you want to They are waiting. Let her cool.
Okay.
Students.
Bafundi, welcome to the number one student podcast in SA. You know, you're talking to you, and you. You're speaking to the one and number one host. Umelu Simongo, Unyatu Tambukulu Puketago Matlanga Kezi. Makazangilbisi, and I'm not walking alone. On my close left, I have Utsangasa, she's a ghost lady. She said I'm a ghost lady. So Umaya, the screen lady. And then on our far left, we have the one and only African Chris Brown himself. How are you guys?
Good.
You
I'm
good? Hey, you look good, Chief.
I look
Good.
good.
You bathing this year.
Yo.
Yeah, there
And
you
then
go.
behind the camera, we have our ghost lady.
There we go again.
We have our ghost lady, Asemahle herself. So yeah, guys, we are back again at our beautiful house. Not yet renovated, but so guys, I just want to run straight to the point. I want to talk about what's currently happening in like the university world as a whole. Hey, there are a lot of strikes around that are going on in South Africa, guys. In UJ, they are striking. UCT, CPUT, in Durban. UKZN, CUT, Bloom. So I just want to hear you guys' thoughts about those strikes and about the overall situation that's happening currently.
Can you go first?
Ladies first.
I
I'm a
go.
gentleman.
Chief.
I'm a gentleman. Ladies first.
Can I say I don't have any thoughts?
Yeah.
I don't have any thoughts. It's come to a point where it's annoying.
Nah.
First year, we were sent home. Second year, I don't know what happened. It was a blip. Third year, it's happening again. I don't have any thoughts. It's annoying. It's like, doesn't the universities have a forecast? Don't they plan ahead? Don't they know how many intakes they're going to have? Don't they know how many students are coming back? It's annoying.
And I like the fact that you're actually talking about that, because I know the universities have calendars, all of them. So it's not like they are not anticipating students coming back to university every year. So they know by August. That's why they're having those registrations or accommodations, applications to run from, is it March or is it May? I think from May to October. So when they close them, I'm just confused. Go see, why don't they just process those applications and then finish everything before the year finishes? Next year.
Besides that, I feel like they know the amount of space they have. They know the intake they have. They know the number of students that already exist in the university. They know the chances of, by December, they know who's coming back, who's not coming back, and who's coming back for graduation. They know everything.
Who failed, who passed.
They know everything. So what is so difficult to plan? What is so difficult to say our intake for this year is 1,000 students and we can accommodate them in one building? Giddy first years, they don't even need to be scattered around.
And the thing is, I was speaking to this other, I think, student representative that was saying that they actually stay over the holidays to actually plan of on how they're going to accommodate students in the beginning of the year. So I'm confused, man, on they actually stay over. So what are they talking about when they are there sitting in the management? Because we're still getting the same results every year. Like you said, first year here at CPUT, we went back home and we were sent home for a whole month. And then we missed out on our studies, and then now we had to catch up, which also tends to affect us mentally, because now it's like we're rushing for this thing. We're not properly actually studying and understanding the course that we're doing. But so I don't get it, man. So
Well, I think
Chief.
yeah, they do plan, and then they look at the number of people who applied, and they see that they can actually make an extra money out of them.
Yeah.
It's all about money nowadays.
Yes.
But
the
then
way,
again-
the way I say it,
But then again, at the end of the day, you can see that you won't be able to admit that many students. So
Why do you do it?
Why do you accept them when knowing very well that you're not going to have a place for those people to stay? And now it's going to be an issue when students strike. You're going to blame the students, whereas it's actually you guys' fault because the students did apply for raise, and then you guys didn't close the thingy because it's full, because you guys are greedy.
exactly.
think-
That's a question that should be asked to the universities. The why.
But
Why
I think-
take more if you have the full capacity?
But
Yeah.
you're not going to get the answer. I think what we are experiencing now with our universities is a typical incompetence that we find in our parliament. It's never going to be competent enough. The more people think about money, it's the more they're thinking, well, you know what, maybe there will be a loophole. Maybe, just maybe, a company like Aries Groups will help us. But how
But
many
then
Aries
again,
Groups are you going to find?
If you like want money, invest in a new building, because at the end of the day, that building is gonna make you more money than you actually try to scam out of the students.
Funny you should mention a new building. CPUT actually built a new race.
Really?
Who's living there?
And you rest. they said that you can pass.
It's
New
a new
campus.
campus.
There's a new campus.
Where?
Sports, what?
I know there's a new campus, the sports
What?
facilities there by Varsity College, where Varsity College is.
What?
I'm aware of that. But wasn't there a new residence that was being built, I think last year or something like that? There's a new CPT residence.
Also, it wouldn't make
That-
sense for them to have a new campus but not a new raise. Where are the people from that campus gonna stay?
They
for
already
example.
have so many campuses. What are they doing?
Dude, like, what are they
They
doing
have
with another
campuses
campus?
and they don't have reses.
But-
Like, what are they doing?
Okay, CPUT aside, all these other unis, what exactly is their plans? I know that CUT, they're not really suffering with like residents because they're using basically like other people's houses for that. But like, what is this incompetence that is happening in universities as a whole, including registrations and everything? Because now the protests are so broad. They're not only about accommodation, they're about more things, about student dates. Some protests are even involving NSFAS because some people were cut a lot by the N+ rule, or I don't know what is it called, but there's a lot happening, and it's not only about accommodation.
And a lot of students are facing a lot of backlash. Like, I saw this video of UCT where they actually started a strike, I think recently, about that thing. I think students are actually blocked, like financially blocked.
Really?
Yeah, from actually financially excluded. I don't know, it's either financially excluded. I fact checkers was checked. They are blocked to actually like study academically because of their debts.
So they financially blocked.
Financially blocked.
Yes.
I wasn't sure, but I think so, guys. So it's actually something we see. Parents are sending students to university to study, but now students have to be dodging rubber bullets and running away from police. It's another thing, because the moment you leave that child to go to school, you leave them and thinking they're going to create a life for themselves. But now they have to be chased by police and police dogs and rubber bullets. It's something that's, because I don't know if you watched the previous episode we had, like students are sleeping in the student center. I'm just making an example because you said we must speak about the broader perspective of all the universities, but at CPUT students are sleeping at the student center for 2 weeks. it's very cold in Cape Town, guys. I know it's cold even in my room. Imagine I'm sleeping on a bed, but it's cold. Ne? So think about that person that's sleeping on the floor, and there are few like there's no windows, chief. it's open,
And they're sleeping in the wind.
and it's really not.
It's actually very sad because whenever you go to campus, for example, D6 at CPUT, you'll find like a bunch of suitcases by the gate, and it's honestly just sad, like genuinely, because you'd be going to. I can't imagine seeing students just sleeping on the floor at the student center while you're on your way to class. It's like, what are they doing like at CPUT? What is their plan? What is their way forward? Because they see these students, and it's not the first time this has happened. I feel like it happens every year.
You guys are just bringing back flashbacks of trauma, man. You know, because I was in that situation on my
You
first
also slept
day,
at student center, chief.
bro, for a week.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
it
how was
crazy.
the experience?
It was crazy. It was hell, man. Like it's a
So-
traumatic experience
Were
for
you
a.
sleeping at the
for a
student
child.
center or were you sleeping in the multi-purpose
It was a
hall?
multi-purpose
Ah,
hall.
you were
You see, now
better,
that's
chief.
where I'm going. You had a luxury of having 4 walls and a roof.
Wow.
Chief,
The
that's
Right.
students
bad.
this year don't even have that luxury. They are not even allowed to enter school premises with their bags.
So you can't come
That
with
is-
your
But still, it's almost the same experience,
No,
man.
it's not
I mean,
quite
I
the
was
same
in.
Experience.
Come on.
VPTU.
I was.
VPTU.
Oh.
Yeah, but since we're speaking about scams, guys, I don't know if you heard about this kind of scams that are going around, whereby the like student representatives are actually exploiting other students. Like let's say, for instance, the first year, for them to get rest, they have to have sex with them.
Are those people not dating? Are they
No,
not
they are
getting
not
any?
dating.
Like the ones that are asking for it, are they not like
No, chief.
akho muntu nyana
Do you
for
know
to
there's
do
some
something
people-
like that?
Clearly, because
Yeah,
now
some
they take
people are
advantage of
opportunists.
kids.
Some people are opportunists. When
That's how
they see
they
those
are.
poor, vulnerable
So-
first year students, they be seeing an opportunity.
They
But then
use it as
again,
leverage.
one
Yeah.
of these people, like these people are like on their 4th years or 3rd years, and now they're
Seniors.
looking at a child that's like like a 2000 and what 8, 7, and then sleeping with that person. That's just crazy. Because imagine when you were in grade 12, what grade was that person in? 7 or 8? Like, what goes through your mind when
I
you do
guess
those
people
things?
don't mind.
But I think it's one of those problematic students that we have in our universities that don't want to graduate. I know that CPUT addressed a thing about students that are failing that want to mule themselves back into the university. Those people are one of the biggest problems that we have, aside from the university not forecasting and planning their year ahead. Because I feel like those people, they still want to come back and assume the same roles that they assumed when they were students, taking over the SRC, taking over the political parties, and now they want to take over the lives of the first year students by sleeping with them or scamming them for money. Some people were even selling space for university, for you to be enrolled into uni. They were selling space. They were saying, if you give me 2.5, I will help you get admitted. If you give me
Crazy.
so and so amount, I will help you get rest. And people are vulnerable. They fall for that because they're thinking, they don't even know where they're going to stay. So let's pay the money.
Do you know I almost fell for that before I came to university? Someone actually came to me and told me, "Exe, if you can give me 2.5, I can put you in UMP.
And a 2.5 is their amount. They always go for 2.5. I don't know.
If you can give me 2.5, I can put you in at UMP. There's this course, they need, it's still open now, like for late application, because they target those ones that actually come for late applications and
because they know you're
walk-ins.
desperate.
Chief, don't fall for it, chief. It's a trap.
I feel like they caught you there.
No, but
You
I'm
paid.
here.
You paid. You paid.
But then what
no.
goes through their mind though?
Yeah.
Like if you're targeting people who are applying for late applications, can't they just do it themselves? If you come up to me and be like, I'll give you 2.5, there's still space in this faculty, I'll apply for you. What difference is them applying for me gonna make from.
So they basically they assure you, they give you assurance. Look here, you give me that money, you are admitted.
So they have the
Like your space is there. Whenever you give me the money, now I put your name on the list. Like you're not even going to go through the application process where they look at your application.
Yeah.
No,
And-
your name is on the list.
And some people do succeed in that. It does happen, Ved. So that's why
now-
people are falling for it each and every time. Because sometimes it does happen.
So now what's happened? Is happening in parliament? It's happening in universities.
That's
again.
why I'm saying, like,
Yeah. It's hard to be a student.
But it's not nice, man. Hey, man, it's really like I feel sorry, man, to be a student in this generation. I feel like it's getting worse, and to believe that there are people that fought and striked. They fought for students to have free education. I think in 2017 or 2019, if I'm not mistaken, and to believe that even the institutions themselves, they also increasing the amounts or the prices for the courses, and the accommodations are also increasing.
Yeah, the
in
tuition
terms
fees
of-
are
Chief,
crazy going up, man.
Chief, where are we going to get the money?
I mean, like, how are you gonna start your life off with that much of a debt to pay?
Bro.
Chief, the moment you are done with school, you have
Have a
100,000 on your name that you
To
owe.
settle, man.
And you don't even know where you're gonna get it from because you're
Exactly.
unemployed. That's another
have no
thing. That's another
experience.
issue. You don't have experience. You don't have anything. You're unemployed. It's hard for you to get a job. You have a degree,
You know-
but you're sitting at home with your degree.
It's like you're not even studying on a zero, you're studying on a minus. Studying on a minus,
But a
Chief, and you
negative
have to
side.
start paying from there. No, man,
Imagine.
this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, we go to school to change the background of our homes, but now you come
real.
up with the debt.
Do you
How
know
are
in
you
Botswana?
gonna-
Do you know in Botswana that you don't pay for university, like the
tuition?
Yeah, you don't pay for anything, accommodation, university fees.
That's
it's free.
nice.
Total.
I'm moving to Botswana then.
Serious, you study for free there, and when you're done, you're starting on a zero, not a minus, kahle, and then you work your way up.
Wow, that's
And
actually nice.
I feel like that's what they wanted to execute here in SA, but
They
Yeah.
failed dismally.
no,
I feel like you know what the biggest scam is? Education.
Mm.
That is a scam.
it's not the key, it's a scam.
It's a scam because we've been striving for this key, and yet this key gets more expensive
Do you
day
know-
by
Yeah,
the
when
year.
education is the most powerful weapon to destroy a
But
black
do you know
child
what's sad
mindset.
also?
Yeah.
What's sad is the fact that we're doing this thing called education, but we are taught skills that are not going to be helpful towards us in the generation we're going to, because AI is coming in.
Exactly.
And we are being taught skills that are not going to be useful because AI can do
All
that
of-
job
yeah.
in a split second. Now you can do it in 8 hours.
Exactly.
So we're not even going to get those jobs. We're
It's
going
sad. It's sad that you're getting a degree just to sit down at home and see a laptop or computer. Actually, not even a program doing your job. It's like something inside a computer doing
But-
your job in a split second.
I don't understand why the universities are not really being up to date with the technology, because as a university, like a business, because like you said, Chief, they are like a business. They want the money. Must
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
So like a business, they should analyze their personal analysis and see good technology is growing now, and we are busy feeding these people HR. Now HR can be a laptop and then tell you, Palesa, I can't hire Palesa. Lebuhang, I can't hire Lebuhang.
But why you as an individual don't you somehow avoid that course as a whole? There's
But-
been this thing that's been going around where they say there are these useless degrees to have. I'm not saying any degree is useless, but they've been deemed like that on social media where people advise against taking those degrees. Why do you still want to find yourself in such a field where you see where we're going with the fourth industrial revolution? That's where you as a person take personal initiative to stay away.
But then again, at the same breath, even if you stay away and go to like a degree that's not gonna be AI dominated, the reality is it's gonna be AI dominated.
We're fighting against Elon Musk. Let's be hopeful.
Girl, It's gonna be dominated, you guys.
We're fighting against the
It's
US
just a
president.
matter of time.
Elon Musk. Guys, we're running away, guys. We're back with the students. So it's really, I think what we're trying to say, it's the university has to build a system around this thing of them. It's not nice to see university constantly always struggling with accommodating students, facing this thing with registrations, and also the ultimate one, this debt, student debts.
Yeah, you see, if
universities facing.
if universities would stop prioritizing money, maybe this thing would be reduced.
That
Because-
is unrealistic.
Yeah, I know, but then
Chief,
it's
the money, Chief. That's the motive.
True.
Yeah.
But I feel like we should also look into other aspects
Like what?
of this whole thing.
Like what?
Like I mentioned, problematic students.
Who must
Yeah,
be,
you see
they must be
those
chased
ones-
out, ne?
I'm on the waiting list at UWC, and I get on the bus from the Free State, come to UWC, and see if they won't move me. I inconvenience the school and I start making videos. I'm homeless at UWC. I'm not mentioning the part that I came here, but I wasn't even enrolled.
Ne.
yeah, you see, and you see
I
those
like your
ones.
perspective. Yes, I didn't think of that. Mara, why would you come here? Why you?
Honestly.
Yeah, I
and then they
think-
cry. Hey.
I think we should finish that after the break. My cup of coffee is
No, Chief, we're not doing that now.
what?
Hey, Baba, me, I want a new cup of coffee. That's a belief.
Students, it pains us to know that 80% of you haven't subscribed to the channel. So we would like to ask you, whether you are a student, a lecturer, or professional working class, please hit the subscribe button down below. And just by that small act, you're going to be helping us to being the biggest student platform in the continent. So can you please subscribe and share the channel to more people, and we promise to give you the most valuable content that you've ever experienced and give you the best guests that you can. Thank you so much. Quench your thirst. Guys, don't forget to get your own cup of respect. The Tribe Coffee, guys. This coffee is so amazing. Urumza has been talking about it since we started drinking this coffee. So go to that. You can just easily go to our description down below and click on the website and find yourself that coffee tribe. And also, it's natural. So akubonakala ngathi uyibhedi asi coffee emabhedi chief le. It's natural coffee. Mother nature. So guys, back to the episode. I wanna ask you about something. Ne? Do you think that the university is destroying the future or building it or creating it?
It's stalling it.
It's stalling it. Did you say stalling or stealing?
Stalling.
Can you define stalling?
They're
It's
making it
pausing
take
it.
time.
No, I'm doing
Basically.
it for the viewers at home that don't know stalling.
Really? Basically, stalling is just
Delaying something.
delay. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
So you're trying to say it's in the middle. In my personal opinion, guys, I feel like it's not the university that's trying to destroy the future, but it's the people in the management that are trying to they are not working with the students to actually obtain the objectives. Because I agree with some things that the students are doing, like striking, blocking the campus because they don't have accommodation. Those people that actually applied for accommodation. But those ones, like Maya said, that one that came from Pumalanga or from where producer is coming, Spulane, and now they are coming here. They know they are on waiting list, but they are like, no, I wanna see CPUT, and they're going to take me when I'm walking in. I don't agree with that. So I wanna hear your thoughts on that, guys. Kutsi, do you think it's fair for those people that applied? And also, you mentioned about the people that are old that they don't wanna leave.
Failing students.
The failing
Those
students.
ones who've been
Failing
here,
students.
those ones who've been here since 2018, and they're still doing the third year.
Do you think it's fair for the first years that actually applied for accommodation? Those first years that didn't get the chance to get that accommodation they applied for because of those students that are actually working with the system to find their place back into the system and taking the beds of other students?
I don't think anything that all the other students are doing, I don't think any of it is fair. Because if you think about it, you are there pushing the protest and you barely passed, you barely made it. You don't meet the minimum requirements of living in a residence. You don't meet the minimum requirements of getting funding, but you are there doing disrupting, and people can't attend their classes, people disrupting.
Do you think we can actually understand, we can give them like a pass because they are actually standing with the students?
No, we can't give them a pass. In terms of CPUT, CPUT went and made objectives to place students temporarily in certain residences. I believe the number that was stated was 410 students by, I think, the past Sunday or something. And those students are now permanent in their residence. They're no longer temporary. And other students are getting temporary residence. From what I understand, the people that are remaining are people that are affected by N+ rules. They've been hopping universities. The people that are remaining are people that do not qualify to be in a residence, meaning they are failing their modules, meaning they are failing their year, their semester. And then there are people who did not, even though they know the procedure, they did not apply for residence.
Isn't there a way that the university can capture those people and actually find them?
So explain to me, how do I capture you when, one, you are failing? Meaning you do not have funding to be in my institution to start with. So now I must allow you to come with your debt, that you already have debt, but you want to bring more
debt.
And then tomorrow you're going to come and say, oh, the university is giving us debt. But you created the debt knowing that you don't have funding. You don't even have means to say, once I'm inside, at least I know I'm passing, so I will get funding. I will get a bursary. There's no way that you're going to find a way out of that whole thing. But you're still leading certain things forward. I feel like some of these students should give up. I don't know if you're hearing me.
Which ones?
The ones that don't have funding, for one. If you've been university hopping, you went to UWC for 2 years, you went to CPUT for another 2 years, now you get to TUT. Where's NSFAS going to get the money? Your parents are definitely not going to cook up the money. So what must happen there?
Do you know, I also feel like nepotism is part of this. Like people that are in the system, management, SRC structures, they're also helping people that are their friends, their family members, to get that accommodation. Some of them, they are not even funded by NSFAS, so they don't have bursaries. But they actually stay in like a CPUT resident.
And someone who deserves the funding is outside.
You see, it's really not fair. But I want to touch on something. I see that there are a lot of strikes. And my concern is, I understand the peaceful strike whereby students now are striking and trying to like put their voices out there for them to be heard, but without violating any asset of the school. What I don't understand is when now students are violating the school's assets, when they are breaking windows, when they are beating security guards. You know what happened 2 years ago when they are beating security guards. And by the way, I saw this video. This guy was beaten by security guards so much. I saw the security guard actually beating him with a chair.
I saw that one too. I mean, that was a fight.
Personally, I think that one was just, I think someone just said, oh, I'm going to throw a slap. And someone retaliated. And it ended
by the chair
like that.
To a student.
But think about it. If you punched me, and I punch you back, you're no longer a student. You are just
trained, You are a trained security guard.
But
they are trained to defend.
It's not fair.
Realistically,
It's not fair to the security guards because they are also people.
No,
they also trained. They are also
Besides that, I need you to understand this. Yes, they are trained, but they are trained to do what? Protect the premises. The students were trespassing.
But
if you look at the fight, it was happening in the basement parking of CPUT. That is trespassing. And what is the purpose of the security in that case? To protect the property, not the students. So in that case, they were doing their job.
Irregardless of trespassing or not, dude, if I come up to you, Melusa, and you're a security guard, I take a chair or a stone and I throw it at you, you as a person, are you not going to defend yourself?
That's
You have
self-defense.
You
Guys,
have your
I
full
understand
right to
that,
defend
ne?
yourself.
I understand that, but we're working with what? It's based on who are we working with first. What are we protecting? So they're protecting what? The institution, from who?
Okay, before you say from who, if you look at that video, if you analyze that video, you will realize that it happened in the night time. I believe it was beyond 10 o'clock. That means the institution was closed at that time. It means that no personnel should be there, unless if you are the security yourself. No personnel should be there, whether you're a student, whether you are staff, because it's past hours. Nobody's there.
But I feel like there could have been another way to resolve this without taking. Guys, we could have. I'm showing you to
We do not know. We do not
did
know.
you see how the guy attacked?
We do not know what the
Exactly.
student
Yeah,
did
the
that
guy-
provoked the people to even take the chair to
And
start
before
with.
you say it's a student, at the end of the day, we're all adults.
Thank
You
you.
can't just come up to me and beat me and expect nothing.
What if the
to
person
happen.
passed away? Yeah? We could have been talking a different
No,
story.
we would have been saying, may their soul rest in peace. But,
but
we're
they
still
did
going to
something
look at
wrong.
the
Yo,
other
Chief.
aspects.
I mean, we
No,
have to
you
look
guys,
in both
you know,
ways.
the tendency that the tendencies we do as people is that we take what we're fed by social media. Because the video started at a certain point. The video
they
started
started
when the
recording.
security guard
Yes.
was defending himself.
Okay.
You don't know what the student did to the security guard.
But-
Because realistically, no one is going to react that way to a student and take a chair and beat the student up unless it's well justified. Should you take that student and the security guard to court and bring the security footage, they will tell you that it is in his right to defend himself. What must he
Exactly.
do? He must stand there and be stabbed by a student.
And
Do
I
you
Yeah,
know
we
why?
shouldn't
Do you
look
know
this
why I
from one
understand his?
direction.
Do you know why I understand his perspective? It's like this, guys. If you take any one of us here, you lock that person in a room, ne? Maybe let's say I take Maya and Rooms, I lock them in a room for 3 days. I don't give them food. Don't you think when you're going to see Rooms and see him as like you're going to actually act in a violent way towards him?
But is that what the security guard did? I feel like if you did want to defend the student that you could be defending in a similar video, if not one that was taken on a similar day, there was a student they were basically like 5 men against one person.
But
And
that's what is the
they were
same thing.
No,
even now.
there are 2 videos, if you're aware. There's one where the guy gets hit by
chair.
the chair, and there's another friend of his just randomly fighting. And then there's another one where about 5 FBI security guards it looks like they're trying to restrain the guy, right? But it makes no sense where they are putting the restraints on him, but the other ones are busy punching. That you can defend, because it's like, who's fighting who?
Yeah, you
No,
see now
guys.
it's 5 men against 1. But that
Yeah,
other
it's
one,
sense.
he attacked.
So I understand, guys. I really understand. So, but what I was trying to say is the fact that I don't understand when students are actually violating like the school's premises. Like there's something that recently happened whereby lecturers came to the CPUT campus and then they got stoned, ne? Which is totally wrong because those lecturers are not part of the decision making of CPUT.
Yeah, they just
Ne?
there to
They have to come to work.
exactly.
Yeah, well, so if CPUT calls them, guys, you have to come to work today, they are required to come to work because they have to put food on the table for their own families. So if students can go to that distance to actually try and come across or put a story for themselves, I don't think it's justifiable, man, to actually do that.
I feel like that is just people being very ignorant and not being able to think. New information came to light recently that students are even stealing. Okay, let me not say students, right? But it has occurred to like the light that lecturers' cars were even being stolen, right? So I feel like that is just people failing to think. Imagine if it was your mother in that situation. Imagine if it was your father and they came home and they said, "Oh, I have the car keys, but I don't have a car."
I wanna go back a bit, ne? Do you know I wanted to say the same thing with that child? Imagine if that was your own brother.
If it was my brother, I'm very ruthless. I was gonna ask him, what was he doing there in the first place?
Okay, it's fine. So because it's not fair now towards looking at the perspective of the students that actually got accommodated and everything is going well for them. I'm not saying we shouldn't feel remorse for them. They also came here to study, but now they can't even attend classes, guys. And at the end of the day, they also came to school to what? To study. And now they're affected by some people that actually it's like the system, man. I feel like I don't know who to blame right now, because partly it's also the university system that's actually disadvantaging us. Partly it's also the students that don't want to leave university, keep on failing, and they actually occupying the space for other students.
And also just being ridiculous, because if you vandalize that property, which is the institution, and you get the residence, and you finally have a place to stay,
So where are you going to
where do you
start?
plan to attend after that if you vandalize the property?
Exactly.
And then you're going to say, CPUT doesn't invest in what.
Exactly.
Look at the classes.
Forgetting that you were part of the problem at one
Honestly.
point.
And what's sad is that bringing it back to the people that are being temporarily placed in residencies. I think we mentioned that there's an anonymous post of a first year student. They say, I'm a first year student from Eastern Cape. I applied for residence when applications opened, but my status has been saying pending since then. I was placed as a temp at NMJ, but the occupant of the room arrived yesterday and I was moved to another room. I'm scared that I will be kicked out again, even today when the owner of the room comes. I'm going to be on the street again. What's said is that there's a lot of students that are going through the same thing this student is going through. And if we analyze this is gonna cause stress to the student before they even start classes. This is a first year student. It's basically a child. It's gonna cause stress. It's gonna cause anxiety. Should every single student that is going through this decide to sue the institution, it's gonna be a problem.
But I have a question, right? So the status says pending the res application. What made you leave your home knowing that where you're going you do not have a home? I just want to, please don't find me insensitive about this, right? When I came here first year, everything of mine was sort of rushed, right? I think I got my acceptance letter on the 15th. Classes had already commenced and orientation week was long over, right? And I took the first bus out, I think end of February, made it here by March 1st. And I had residents, they sort of like did everything, right? And then when I got there, because I was excited for the acceptance letter, all that mattered to me was that I got school, right? But then when I got to Cape Town, I realized, oh, there's that thing called residence, right? Then I checked and I realized, oh, I did apply, lucky for me, right? But now the institution didn't make means for me to get residence. Now I start thinking and I ask my mom, why did we come here before we checked if I had a place to stay? Right? We made other plans, and for a whole month I was crying at the rest department trying to get myself residence. There was somebody who was not even staying in their room, though they were accepted for the room. Only on one faithful day when I went and this girl called and said, guys, the money is accumulating. Can you please cancel my application for residence? That was just, I feel, God's grace upon my side, right? Because then that's how I got to move into the residence, right? But I feel like as a parent, how do you allow your child to leave for residence before they confirm to you that they have res? Now, this is where I'm going with this. My second year, so I learned my lesson first year. Second year, I didn't get accommodation until, I don't know, just by the 3rd of February, I still didn't have residence. I was already registered. I was done with my AODs and everything. I refused to buy a bus ticket before my res status changed. I refused. I did the same thing this year because it took time and I was like, I'm not going anywhere. If it means I have to attend from my blackboard, then so be it. Then I refuse to move. So that's my question. What makes you leave?
But don't you think let's say most first years went through the same thing you went through. They didn't they were too excited because I mean it's varsity life. I also was too excited to come to Cape Town. I even forgot about residence. When I checked, I didn't even apply. But by my luck, with my luck, I have family here, so I stayed there. So I feel like every single first year student it has that excitement. They don't think about, oh, where am I going to stay? Maybe some of them even think, okay, I have a university. The university can give me a place to stay. Whereas it doesn't happen like that. You have to apply.
And I feel like there must be an awareness created around that to educate first year students to say, unless you have residence, do not budge. Do not budge. Because even if you come here, then if you're going to come here, be ready to fight while you don't have a home.
Yeah.
But the thing is, do you know what's the problem? A lot of first years, like the time I was a first year, we all didn't get accepted for us up until we came to school. And then we were at the multi-purpose hall. That's when the statements were, or the statuses were processed into accepted. But they were all pending for all of us. Every first year started in multi-purpose hall. And then from there...
that is a fault on the university's side. What is the SRC doing in terms of that? Because now you see, now we get to know where the problem is. They're not looking at the numbers of... They're not forecasting, they're not planning, they're not seeing how many students are coming. They're just doing things with a blind sight. And only when they see the problem in front of them do they say, oh, let's process the statuses.
Yeah.
You see?
Oh, let's check everything.
That's
So
the
now
thing.
we see where the underlying problem is.
Because the status, I think it's supposed to tell you even before orientation. Because some of them have the perception that, oh, it's orientation week next week, and I have to be in Cape Town before orientation week because I might actually miss up on this and this and this and this.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is afraid of being left out.
Yeah, but
And catching up, it's not easy, especially in university. It brings a lot of pressure.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining the #1 student podcast in SA. If you do also have any comment about the topic for today, please drop a comment down below. And also, stay tuned on our socials. We have a lot that's coming in store. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to the #1 student podcast in SA. And we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, guys. So, it's done. It's from us to you. Since I share guys, till next time. Adios, amigos. Siyabonga. Ningas shy. Tine with the student podcast. Skala nani. Iyangixaka cause SRC.